Hey guys.
My heart is pounding.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend to stand up for your rights and freedoms. Okay, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I really think this is the time to be networking and meeting all these amazing like-minded people. I have no doctoral credits to share with you, so I'm not going to pretend I know 100% what is and is not true in regards. Woo! Yeah, so I don't know what's true in regards to literally anything, but at the end of the day, I have to trust my intuition and my gut feelings. I take everything I hear with a grain of salt and try to make the best judgments as a movement. We are not anti-government, anti-mask, or anti-vaccine, regardless of what propaganda has insinuated. We are all for protecting our inalienable rights. I'm so sorry, I gotta fix my hair, it's driving me crazy. I'm eating it. We want to protect our inalienable rights that are covered in the Canadian Bill of Rights. We want to protect the Health Privacy Protection Act and freedom of our health choices. Where are all the my body, my choice social justice warriors when we need them? I feel that we are being pitted against one another. Woo! Thank you. There's been more discussion this week in mainstream media in regards to health passes and vaccine passports. I think this would mainly just create more discrimination and segregation within our country. The most discouraging part of the past 500 plus days of the Nova Scotia state of emergency for me has been the division, polarization, judgment, and intolerance. I see the negative effects our restrictions have had on our communities, such as the mental health crisis, bankruptcy, suicide, starvation, homelessness, domestic abuse, child abuse, inflation, healthcare delays, the destruction and permanent closure of many small businesses, and our unemployment rate that is currently the second highest in the G7, with over 250,000 missing paychecks according to July's job report. My question is, who is going to flatten those curves? I heard of a local man in his 90s who survived COVID-19, yet after he recovered, he eventually starved himself to death due to the isolation he was experiencing while he was isolated in a long-term care facility away from his family and friends. The solution needs to be better than the problem. I would have to agree with Frank Zappa that mental health is likely our biggest societal issue. His take was that if everybody had good mental health, all the other problems would be solved. In order to take care of mechanical and practical problems, you have to have good mental health. It seems we've forgotten how to debate, have meaningful conversations, or how to politely agree to disagree. We are never going to agree on everything, and that's a good thing. That's how we progress as a society and as a democracy. It is disheartening for me to hear that some have resorted to, example, yelling at others in public for wearing masks outside. If we are truly fighting for freedom of health choices, this is hypocritical behavior and doesn't represent what Freedom Nova Scotia is all about. I am certainly not here to lecture you or tell you how to live your life, but I do feel that you attract more flies with honey than vinegar. I try to respect everyone's health choices as I hope for others to reciprocate for me. If you choose to shop maskless, as is your right, and you find yourself in the middle of a negative confrontation, in my experience, remaining calm and level-headed has always seemed to help de-escalate the situation. We are working on plans to gather for group maskless shopping trips for those of you who are uncomfortable wearing a mask, but are also nervous to go out on their own maskless. Stay tuned on Facebook, Freedom Nova Scotia Group, for more information. Just a reminder that Brendan McGuire, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, signs off on the Nova Scotia State of Emergency bi-weekly. Feel free to email him or comment on his Facebook and Instagram pages to let him know your thoughts. If you allow the government to break the law because of an emergency, They will always create an emergency in order to break the law. The last time Brendan replied to my emails was back in May. He justified the state of emergency based on the amount of hospitalizations at that time. But he could not provide me with any information as to whether or not this was an average or exceptional year for flu hospitalizations, or if people's symptoms were worse than previous years. There is now one person in the hospital with COVID-19, and while that's not a good thing, it only represents 0.0001% of the province's population, so I'm not sure what Brendan's justification is now. I think it's safe to say that 100% of the population has been negatively affected by the restrictions at some point. Have you? If we can end the state of emergency, we could end the mask mandates, fines, lockdowns, and the experimental injections that are only permitted for emergency use. I'm not sure if any of you have read the Canada Reset Plan, supposedly leaked by a Liberal Party committee member last October. It was Snoped, but so far it has been followed to a T, and you can see the foreshadowing for the supposed next steps, such as the Bill C-273 for Universal Guaranteed Basic Income, which is in its second reading in Parliament. The plan is worth a read to see where this could all be potentially headed if we don't really start standing up for ourselves. Continue to talk among your fellow constituents and build the loving, helpful community we long for. Ronald Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like when we were free." Feel free to come down. Let me know if you'd like to be added to Dina Churchill's email list. We also have a ton of Facebook and Telegram groups that you can join to keep up to speed. I have a petition to end the Nova Scotia state of emergency if you would be willing to come sign it. Thanks to all of those of you who already have. I have some Save Canada hats and stickers. You can check out Zach and Cole's Save Canada website. It's freedomhats.ca for merch to help with their endeavors. And we will be meeting here bi-weekly at Citadel Hill Saturdays 1 to 3 p.m. until the state of emergency has ended and everything returns to the old normal. And I believe it will be even better than the old normal. Let's celebrate our differences rather than fight over them. We have to be the change we want to see in the world. Just remember, 2 more weeks to flatten the curve. Thanks again for all you're doing and have an amazing afternoon.